Good afternoon, investors. Welcome to Clever Stocks. I'm your host, Kelvin, and we have something truly exciting lined up for you today. We are delighted to introduce a special guest who has been making waves in the industry of artificial intelligence with his innovative insight. Joining us today is none other than Manika Vasagam Palaniandi, the CEO of Lean Partner. So founded in 2013, Lean Partner is a top boutique consulting firm specializing in business transformation, operational excellence, automation, and also training. So with a strong track record among the Fortune 500 companies, also government agencies and government-linked corporations, Lean Partner has streamlined and digitalized operations for over 200 organizations. So, Manika has recently penned a compelling article titled How Artificial Intelligence Can Drive Substantial ROI, which has garnered significant attention for its deep dive into the transformative power of AI in business. So, we now have the privilege of exploring more of Manika's perspective on how AI is reshaping business strategies and enhancing operation efficiencies. So, Manika, welcome to Clever Stocks. Yeah. So, as we all know, talking about AI, right? So, before this, okay, we have talked about how this industry, okay, is very important to, like I told you, I have some of the friends. They are in this industry. They want to become more efficient, right, in their business, right? So that's why there's a lot of things that we do not know. How should we start? We all know AI can help us, but we do not know how, right? So from your article, also emphasize on this transformative power, which is transforming from traditional way of manufacturing or maybe for the business, like insurance and finance industry or healthcare industry from your side, right?
Right.
So that's why the power of this AI in business, how do you see AI is going to reshaping the strategic direction of the companies in the next 5 years?
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much to have me here. Of course, to join this particular
our
discussion.
pleasure. Yes.
Right? Yeah. First of all, before I answer your questions, I think I just want to take one step back. We can see this significant demand or I'm going to call it acceleration of this technology element. We call it a digital transformation right after post-pandemic, I would say. I think in the pandemic time, or the COVID time, we have a lot of this technology testing and trying and all this stuff taking place, right? So the world actually seeing that the acceleration of this particular technology. So now the question is how this can be adapted to the individual organization and how they can grow better in the next 5 years or next coming years. So one of the things that the organization need to look into it before they jump into any of the technology is understanding their current process, right? The baselining what they have now, right? So I think some of the organization going ahead of it. I personally have experience with multiple organizations who came back to us saying that Manika, we have invested in technology for the last 3 years and now it's time for us to freeze it and go back to the process because some of these technologies start failing it because they never look into the process earlier, right?
I see.
Because our majority of the processes, especially in a financial institute and so on, are governance by regulatory and also policy and so on. So you can't just switch it off and turn it off, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So it is very important, any industry, doesn't matter if it's SME or MNC, they have to review their processes first to understand whether the process is ready for automation or for artificial intelligence, whatever technology we're going to use it, right?
Yeah.
So this is a very crucial part. This is what some of these organizations are missing actually, to be very frank, because when you rush into the system, what happens is if anything goes wrong, it's going to impact significantly. To give you an example, there is an organization who actually went into a robotic process automation, right? And after they roll out the system, what happened is the system went into a double claim payment out it means that every customer got two
Double
times
payment.
of their claim, right? So if it's 100,000, become 200,000.
I'll be happy to be that customer.
Correct, right? So there's a few thousand customers been impacted, and now the organization are going to go individually to try to retrieve pie, because the moment robot, you won't think, right? Is go by logic and go by rules that you actually built it in.
Yes.
So this is the dangerous of going for automation without understanding the process, right? So we, as our organization, we actually support organization to actually review and do the feasibility study to understand which process you can actually go for, which kind of automations, right?
Yeah.
But technology or this artificial intelligence or machine learning or IoT or even we call it a process engineering, all those things are the way forward.
Yes.
We can't stop technology. Right?
Yeah.
I keep telling that the university who are accepting the ChatGPT assignment, we're going to be riches.
Yes. Because it's so much easier, right?
Right.
Yeah.
People today is like, no, you can't use chat for assignment and all those things. But I think it's unstoppable. That's my personal view. It will come, right?
Yes.
So the education system, we have to see how we're going to evaluate the students now, right, in a different way, because it's everything in the fingertip. They can just put in a ChatGPT and figure out what they want to write the assignment.
Exactly.
For example, right?
Yeah.
So this is something that we cannot stop. But I think the organization have to look into it now itself, how they're going to look into this technology adoptions, because it's going to help them on efficiency, effectiveness, many areas, as well as cost reduction. So when you have an operation cost reduction taking place, it's automatically going to increase your profitability.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what all the organizations are trying to do. Right.
Absolutely. So yes, this is the strategic they're supposed to go in today itself, so they can see what they are seeing in the next 5 years time.
I see. So, yes, okay, we all know that all this like transformation and things like that, but it's really good for the costing wise, and also not to increase more costing is that you need to make sure that the process are being reviewed.
Right.
So at least you know that, okay, each of the process is being pinpointed, right? So that it's not like, maybe some salesperson came in and tell you like you need this machine, you need this equipment, so it can help you be more efficiency. But it's robot, okay? So there are differences on that. So at least you understand each of the process, the stages, then you can save costs throughout the way when you are doing the transformation. And after that, you can save more costs in the long run, right?
Absolutely right.
Yeah. So of course we do understand that there are, a lot of people understand that, right? 70% of the business leader, they know that, like you say, AI is going to disrupt disrupt the industry. Like for example, even right now, like as a host, Astro, they are coming out with the AI host, right? So this is really disruptive, right? But yet only like 20% of the people are feeling prepared for this. But what are the steps should this organization, take to bridge this gap effectively?
Yeah. Only one word I'm going to use it here is basically very important, that early adoption of this. So organization cannot ignore this coming. Right?
Yes.
So it's basically is part of their strategic planning. They shall need to include this technology elements into it as an adoption towards, right? So we know there's a lot of history globally. Organization is not adapting the new technology. Just disappear.
Let you look at like industrial revolution time. There's a lot like being
correct. Yeah. Correct. So I think in order to stay relevant in the market, I think adoption has become very important to what is happening around and technology and all those things.
Yes, yeah.
Because the elements I always used when we are sharing this with the leaders is actually our competitor is unknown. Right? I use the word our competitor is unknown. Right? What I mean by that, while we are having this conversation here, there can be a startup company out there thinking of brainstorming something, a product or service that can replace our product and service just overnight.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
To give you a typical example, can be a Grab taxi. Right? When the Grab taxi came on board, the traditional taxi was impacted significantly.
Yes.
And majority, almost everybody like jumping to the Grab with a simple reason, because it's convenient.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
You will pick up where you are standing, you know who's the driver, what's the price and everything. Right?
Yep.
But Grab is not a typical taxi company, right? They came from nowhere and just make a market disruptions.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So this example we can see in multiple industries is happening. All right. So adoption, if delayed, this is going to be impact the organization.
Yes. Yeah. I do believe that. So because like we do see like some of the business where my friends, their family business, they are not able to adopt that, and their business started to go down slowly.
Correct.
Yeah, so it's not just about chasing after revenue, after sales, there's a lot of things that we need to look into it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so since we are talking about like AI adoptions for the organization and also for the industry, so what do you consider the biggest challenge for business when integrating this AI into their existing system? And how can they overcome these kind of hurdles? Yeah.
All right. Okay, I think this is a common challenge faced by many organizations, especially SME-based companies.
Yeah.
I think MNC-based company, they might have resources with this talent. They can pull from their global arena as well. So I think one of the things is basically this company have to start looking at how the upskill their people on these particular areas, proper trainings and so on, so that the people, especially the people are sitting in the strategic table, they able to have certain knowledge on this and exposure, so that they can actually do a proper strategic for the organization for the adoption of this particular technology. Right?
Yep.
So it's very crucial because if there's nobody in the organization that will talk about this, then it will be a big challenge.
Yes.
That's number one. The second point I want to also put it up here is not everything we need technology to solve the problem. So I think sometimes we are overselling, right?
Yes.
I think what is important is actually for the organization continuously reviewing their processes and understanding how to simplify the process and make it more robust on the process. So if you can do that, right, sometimes human productivity can be also equally good compared to a technology investment that need to go in. So the organization who are having a financial constraint and stuff like that, I think the minimum they should go in is actually to review their processes and optimizing the processes. Because in our organization now, with our experience, right, we found out like many organizations, after we optimize the process, what happens is they say, oh, maybe we don't need to go into technology, we are still fine with the way we are doing things, because it's too simple already. So what we do is we go in and we say, can we cut this activity, we cut that activity, eliminate those things which is not adding value to your end products, or the loops of the process is not right. You're going in a long-winded, can we go to a short way or things like that, right?
Yeah.
So those are things we can actually do before we actually move into technology. So adoption here I'm talking about not necessarily have to be in a technology elements, but the most important adoption is actually how do I see my process to be simplified and increase my productivity. That's most important.
Yeah, I think yes, that is important. And also, like you mentioned just now, like you need to have like people to go for the training and stuff like that. So we are looking into like talents, right?
Correct.
So they are able to give like very strategic planning on this and knowing what they are doing.
Correct.
Yeah, like you say, how do we increase the productivity, or even like making things like cutting off one of the stage of it. So that's why in the article you mentioned that 66% of this executive plan to recruit the AI specialist externally, right? Because they are in the transformation, because internally they can't find anyone, right? So what kind of skills and qualities like should business look for in like for this AI talent out there?
I think most important is to start with data. There must be a data analytical skill set or data science elements especially. And then we talk about machine learning. Right? And then we talk about artificial intelligence. Right? Some sort of a development, logic writings, understanding how do I put business requirement in place. Those are generally some basic knowledge of people need to be in. But not forgetting, like what I keep emphasizing about process, sometimes when they go into a talent or towards a technical side of it, they overlooked on a process expert. Right? We still need a process expert who can actually understand the process and translate this process into business requirement. Right? Because the talent we are talking about is who can actually say, okay, here we can do artificial intelligence. Right? I can develop the artificial intelligence. But there should be a correct instruction to the person and saying that this is how we want it. Right? 1 + 1 is equals to 2. This is 1. This is 2. Right? So you have to give a proper instruction. So we also need to look into who is the process expert here.
I see.
We are not referring this expert as the SME or subject matter expert, not the doer. But we're talking about somebody can actually review the process. Say, hey, this step is wrong. This step should be doing this way. It no means you're taking a broken process into system. There is a good saying, efficient process when you automate it, become more efficient.
Yeah.
Inefficient process, when you automate, become more inefficient.
Yeah, because it make it like magnify the things.
Correct.
Yeah.
But it's already inefficient now.
Yeah.
You automate it, become more inefficient, right? So
Okay.
because it's become faster now,
Yeah.
making things are wrong.
Yeah.
So one of the talent need to be also considered is actually a process expert. Beside all this technology expert, just putting a technology guy, you don't solve the problem. Because I have seen organizations set up where we have a developers in the team, or we have the IT guys in the team who actually look into all this, right? But somebody must feed them correct information. Who is feeding them? If you're just depending on the doers, you talk to 5 people, you got 5 versions of output of the process.
I see.
Right?
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so you it's very difficult. So you need to have somebody expert to review all this and make it a standard process, so that this particular developers and all those, he can actually deliver the
see.
product.
So in that case, can I say, like, if let's say they really want to start off like with this transformation into AI, first thing they need a data analyst, and then also together with the process experts, so that they can work hand in hand
Absolutely.
on this, like collecting data. So the process expert, that they know that, okay, we can actually cut this line, we can make it more efficient. So that's where the machine learning, they start to develop the process for it.
Absolutely.
I see.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's a good input for that, because like a lot of people, when they do not know how to start off, the easiest thing they will go for is like, okay, they look for some of the company, they ask them, okay, I want to do this. Then these people will supply them some of the machines that include like AI, but most of the time now I understand why. You know, some of the industry, when in the manufacturing side, they use AI, so-called AI machine, but it doesn't help them to achieve the efficiency.
Right.
Because they didn't really look into the process of it, right?
Absolutely, you're right. So I also keep telling organization that, if you talk to any salesperson, we have this problem, I need a equipment or software. They will tell you the best software in the world, right? So because they will say this has been used in UK and it's working fantastic in the same industry you are in and all this stuff. What they say is absolutely correct, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But the question we need to ask ourselves is that software fit my requirement or not?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? Or that machine is fit my requirement or not? Because it is true, it's the best. But my process have this limitation, my process have this requirement, my customer want these elements and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you try to fit into the system or the software out of shelf purchase, it can be a wrong move.
Yes.
So this is the reason why we have to look into our current process and understand all the requirement of your process and compare with the equipment or system that you're buying it and see whether we're fitting everything together or not, especially when we talk about regulatory.
Yeah.
I know one organization who has spent almost 3 years. They bought a product out of shelf and tried to fit the current process into it. They pull a big team out full time and look into it to make it happen. And eventually they have to scrap the whole project because they couldn't fit it in because there's a lot of regulatory systems and all that stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
It was the best system, but it is not suit for them.
Yeah.
Right. So basically, it's like we are buying anything. We are buying clothes or shoes, anything like it's a best product.
Yeah.
But if you not fit into it, it's not
Exactly.
fit into it, right? So
That's
you can't use
why.
it.
That's why we need a bespoke. Like for men, for our suit. Yeah.
Right.
So everyone's body is different, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So now we know that, okay, in order for you to start implementing this, like the transformation on this, so first thing we need data analysts, and then we need to have like the process expert, then analyze it first, then only we look into the machine learning, how to make it more efficient.
Right.
So then we look into like the what kind of like if let's say, for example, like how can business like identify the most impactful areas for AI implementation in this case, right? And what are some examples of like high impact application that we have seen? Because yes, we know that, okay, we can cut off all this, right? So we let our audience know, like our viewers know that based on your experience, like what are the high impact application that you have seen after they have done all this transformation? Yeah.
Okay. In terms of any automations or even artificial intelligence, any other general rules that I normally advise is we have to look into, normally happen like, 3 major areas. Right? So one is high volume areas. Areas that actually have a high volume, when you automated the whole process, your gain and impact will be higher. All right?
Yeah.
Other than, it just happened once in a month, then you might not have an impact to it. Very logical answer. Right?
Yes.
So the area they have a high volume, high what you call resource dependency, human dependency. Can we look into it and see what are the kind of automation we can actually do there, right? That's one.
Yeah.
Second area that people actually use this high impact is policy or regulatory related. So we do, because if anything goes wrong, there's going to be a big impact to the organization from audit finding, or there can be penalty to the organization and stuff like that. Then this is another area that we want to look into. How can we be system driven other than human dependency? Right? The third one is safety. So some organizations like oil and gas and all those environment where safety is become very, very important. So it become very crucial that we are using some technology or IT or stuff like that, so you can automatically detect it, some of the things which is going out of the control and stuff like that. So this is the three areas normally been a selection for high impact area. But looking at cost saving for the organization and improving the productivity will be high volume area.
I see.
High volume area, when you're automated, then it become a much faster and so on. That will help organization to see a significant impact.
Yes. Okay. So first thing that they need to identify this high volume area, so then that they can actually make it more efficient, right?
Correct.
So if let's say they are able to like focus on this high volume area, like if you what kind of like ROI measurement is there like on this? Like you discussed the importance of like this tracking AI's performance metrics, because you know that there. So what specific KPI should like companies focus on to like measure the success of their AI initiative? Right. Yeah.
Talking about metrics, like from the start we are talking about efficiency. So definitely efficiency will be one of the elements need to look into it, because even when we are doing like let's say project charter or a term of reference, when they are going into this kind of a projects, for example, their objective or the goal will be, let's automate the process. I always tell them automation is a potential solution. So your goal is not automation, right? Your goal is to improve on efficiency, for example. That should be your goal statement, right? So today I'm taking 1 hour by putting this particular system, can I do in 10 minutes or 5 minutes? Right? So that should be the goal, right? So we're looking at efficiency, definitely will be one of your metrics, right? Second area, we talk about effectiveness. That means error rates, any breach of policy and stuff like that, right? So there can be a second metric that you can actually look into it. But with these two, definitely we're going to look into operation costs will be another metrics. So how the operation cost improvement is taking place as well, because that is what you're going to be cross-checked by what is the return of investment that I'm looking at it, right? So I will put only these three components. Of course, you can add more other sub metrics: efficiency, effectiveness, and cost. I think this is the most important metrics that any system that you're putting in place supposed to measure.
I see. Okay, so of course, like if we are looking into this like tools like cost, when you talk about cost, right, efficiency, so definitely you need like some of the AI tools and also like the technologies. So if we look into tool selection, right, choosing the right AI tools is critical, of course. And also, what criteria should businesses use to like evaluate the select of these AI tools to align with their strategic goals? Because before that we talk about like how to, the process of it. So now we are going into more like details, like how do they choose the AI tools?
All right. So the selection of tools is always going to depend on the business requirement, right? For example, like, if you are very data driven and by using the data, your rules is actually been modified along the way, and then ML and AI come together, because with the data collection, for example, I give you bank's process of underwriting, right? That means, a loan application, there's underwriting. There's a lot of discussion going on now to even replace this whole process with artificial intelligence, right? Because underwriting is basically the very high skilled person role. People will review all the documents but they still apply logic. So for this process, if we are using artificial intelligence, then the feeding of data is important. So after the system actually review, let's say 100 applications, the system might have a new knowledge now by getting all the data. And then the artificial intelligence is actually able to like modify its rules a bit and to try to add on the new requirement, for example, and say, kind of things. Because we are detecting this along the way, right?
Yeah.
So this is where this kind of format works very well. I'll give you another example in banking also, where suspicion accounts, right? There will be a human will monitoring transactions happening in the system, so there is a bank negara requirement. If the second X amount is transferred, is suspicion, please discuss, understand where the money coming from and stuff like that. So the whole system now is actually artificial intelligence is taking over.
Yeah.
And the beauty of this is basically it works 24/7, right? So because human only work in office hours, this guy working 24/7.
Yes.
And he monitor all these movements with the logics, and he will detect exactly where it is suspicion, and he give you the full detail, exactly when, how, who, and all those stuff. So the investigator will be very easy to access to it. Right? So
Yes.
this is where the artificial intelligence comes in this part.
Yeah.
But some process we just need what you call robotic process automation, RPA, right? That we no need to go very deep into AI implementation. We just use a robotic process automation. So let's say you're merging 3 different documents to single and getting one report out.
Yeah,
So we
you
can
don't need
just use
AI for that.
You don't need the AI for that.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, is it going to be based on the business requirement? You can actually see different type of
Yes.
technology that's available. Then we can actually suit which one is actually suitable for this.
Yeah.
So we don't need to put everything on AI. Actually. AI cannot do everything as well.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, this one is like what we have discussed earlier, where we are saying like, okay, you need to go into details. Like probably some of the business, they can look for lean partners, to look into it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why it's important, everyone. Okay, you have to understand the whole process first before you implement it, or don't just buy any AI equipments and then or the machines or the software just to thinking that it's going to be efficient. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So of course, once we get like all this, like you say, like the machine learns, and also maybe they will come out with their own new set of rules, for the application for the banks, right? So if let's say we want to like continuous on optimization on this, okay? So of course in your article you highlight that the need of continuous monitoring and optimizing of the AI tools. So can you share best practice to ensure these tools remain effective like over time?
Right.
Yeah.
So I think again it's going to be a skill set of people who are monitoring this, because even initially when the RPA was popular, like 5 years back, I would say, robotic process automation.
Yeah.
A lot of company have done it, but one of the COO was talking to me and said, this A company, Manika, over the period we have developed 150 robots, and 70 of them are sleeping today. It means it's not working. Right?
Yeah.
The reason for this is happening is because there's no governance with the system. You see, the moment you have change in your process, for example, maybe there's a policy change, maybe there's a bank negara actually give you some instruction to change. The moment you change something, a robot cannot work right?
Yeah.
Right? Because the rules are changed. Right?
Yes.
So we need a resource that actually overseeing all this application and continuously supporting the operation. Where every time there is a change, we have to upgrade this guy as well.
Yes.
So this is a governance need to put in place. There should be a process in place. I think many companies are doing it, but those are not looking at this. That's why we have just buy and plug it in, and nobody's supporting it and all those things.
Yeah.
Over the time, you're going to see, the thing is actually not working.
Yeah.
Not because anything wrong with the application or software, is because our process have changed. Because today change is very significant, right? So it's like, I telling people that our experience get expired.
Yes.
And today I'm not telling how many years of experience I have, because majority of my experience is expired, right? So what last year, this year might not be applicable.
Yep.
That's the speed we are in now, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you're working in the social media platforms, for example, Google or Facebook, Insta, and all, their rules are keep changing. If somebody doing business over there, right? If they're not updated, right, they'll be outdated in a way, right? So So because of that, it is very crucial that there is a governance. People are looking at the system and continuously adapting the new one, adding into it, upgrading it, update the new process and stuff like that. Because the change is so significant today compared to 15-20 years ago. Something you put in place, you can stay there for a couple of years or months. But today it's not a scenario. So your software, your product, everything is keep changing. You cannot stay with one product very long. Your product it become very crucial to be keep changing, right? Because today we are driven by consumer, I would say.
Yeah.
Right. I keep telling people why the change in the organization going very significantly, because I got 6 elements. I very quickly put this together very fast. Number one is customer behavior change, right?
Yeah.
For example, after post-pandemic, even your restaurant is 1 kilometer away, you still want to do online order, right?
Yep.
I also telling that the person was selling pisang goreng in the roadside, and if they don't have a QR code for payment, they'll be in the lost.
Yes.
Right? People don't want to carry money, really.
Yeah.
And if they are not subscribing for Panda Food or Grab Food, they also be losing because people want to order pisang goreng online, right?
Yeah.
So those are things that driving the organization, especially a service-based organization like hospitals, like insurance or banking. The customers don't want to queue everything. They are falling under digital customer nowadays.
Yes.
E-form, e-signature, everything. Right?
Yes.
So this is why organization going crazy today because of this demand of customer. Second reason is ever-changing technology. We are hearing every day some new things, especially when you are on TikTok or Instagram, you can see the new application that people are talking about it, right? So if you're not advertising, because of the social media awareness creation to the public, public aware about this technology, and they come to our organization for service. They say, "Why are you still doing this? We already have this software, can do this and so on." So customer is demanding because their awareness is high for them as well. What is the technology all about?
Yes.
Especially the new Gen Z onwards. Right? There are no kind of application they can use to make it things simple.
They'll grow up with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So due to that, organizations are going through a significant change because the demand is coming from it.
Yeah.
Third reason is because of the economy, I would say. In country economy, global economy. It's also including geopolitics that are happening around the world.
Yeah.
That causing the organization really look into cost optimization because we just don't know tomorrow.
Yes.
Right? That's another reason why it's going crazy. And the fourth reason is because taking advantage of the situation. For example, in COVID-19 time, some of the insurance company came out and say you can coverage for COVID. So COVID done a fantastic job in the beginning of it, in a way, fear the people to the core.
Yeah.
So anybody talk about COVID, they want to subscribe for it. Right?
Yes.
So they make advantage of that.
Yes.
So today also, current economy, current situation, what will be the best product, best service we can actually offer to the customer? People are taking advantage of that. Due to that, the changes are taking place in the organization. And the fifth reason is because of challenging status quo. Today, I can confidently tell comfort zone is more dangerous than taking part in the change.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And you just need one announcement, things can be just disappear.
Exactly.
And everything can be changed.
Yep.
Right? So that's why it is very important to continuously change and challenge our process and activity that we are doing. The last one is basically innovation. Why innovation become very crucial today is because the competition that we are facing, not only in country, outside the country as well. So due to that, innovation create in differentiating of yourself in the market. So we have to come out with very innovative kind of product and services and approach and all that, so that we can stand different in the market.
Yes.
So these are 6 elements, 6 areas that I feel that making the organization continuously in a run and change.
Yes.
So that's why we need anything that change, we have to back to the system again, software again, process again.
Yeah.
We need a governance, so somebody is overlooking at it and do some upgrading.
So it's keep on changing,
Absolutely.
because right now, like you say, right now everything about internet, so it's like keep on moving faster and stuff like that.
Right.
So, so we do see like there's a lot of understand how this process of the transformation it is right now. So I think our viewers and our audience, they understand a lot much better.
Right.
So can you share with us some of the successful AI like you say before in the healthcare or like the insurance side when you mentioned or maybe like finance also, just now you say like banking side and also manufacturing. So could you elaborate on how this industry can like further capitalize on this AI for competitive advantage? Yeah.
Right. Not going very specifically for any particular application, right? Because I think all these informations are available in the net. Actually, people just to put in something AI in healthcare. I think they got a list of the things that come out. But I think one area that worked very well in healthcare is actually enhancing of data gathering or accessing to the data become much easier. The diagnostic process for it, right? So we also have an app like monitoring patients' health over the time and so on, right? So to give a real-time data so that the doctors can make a better decision and so on. or they also have a more deeper analytical of the body, other than just a blood test. They go 1, 2, 3 levels deeper to give a more information. And AI also helping to capture data on every seconds of the people, certain movement and things like that. So you have a more clear data to make a better decision, right? That's where the healthcare elements we're looking at. Like a banking and in insurance, I will say, I keep telling the organization getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
That's where we got the digital bank and stuff like that.
Correct. So a lot of process are going into automations and getting into artificial intelligence. And also we can see ourselves for the last 20 years from the banking, a lot of process been outsourced to the customer. Right. Those days when you want to transfer money, you have to go to a bank, fill up a slip and go to the counter and so on. Today on run you can transfer money for anybody you want to transfer. So they are continuously looking at the operation and process, how we can actually outsource to the customer. By looking at that, we also need to be monitoring, and more cyber security become very important and all the stuff. So this is the part where they are also heavily using artificial intelligence to monitor and review and capture any fraud cases and stuff like that. Artificial intelligence working very well on these areas as well, because a lot of things are going to the customer. So we also need to be careful of what we are actually giving to them. Right? So that's basically where we see. Come into manufacturing, like Industry 4.0, Industry 5.0 now, robotic arms, robotic lines, robotic production lines. Those are things are coming up very well for certain industry. Inspection part is replacing by systems and software, artificial intelligence working in that area as well. So this is some of the examples I can say, but even retail we are seeing something coming up as well. So, as simple as, barcode, cashless areas and all those stuff we are talking about. All those things are where the missions are actually doing some works there behind the scene, right? So it's very important. All this works very well in any organization by having a very accurate data.
I see. So the data.
So data mining is very important. Data warehouse is very important. Because if you don't get the right data from the process, you might be interpreting wrongly.
That's why from the beginning you have mentioned, if you want to do any transformation, from on this, you start with the data analyst and also the process expert on that. So that's why having the right data is important.
Absolutely.
If you get the wrong one, then all the way is wrong.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So since we talk about the transformation on this, let's look into a bit on the future, of AI in business. So looking ahead, so how do you see the role of AI evolving in business operations, and what new opportunities do you anticipate emerging from this evolution?
Right. I think there's you see, even AI are going through phases. Right. So there is a narrow AI where we talk about you do one things at a time. Right. And then now we call intelligent artificial intelligence. Right. So it's basically you get more smarter where you can do more than what human can do. Right. So even AI is going through phases where we can actually see that more things are going to be found through this particular technology. And I think all industry going to see more new elements or new features of this artificial intelligence. Like OpenAI came out with a chat, for example, ChatGPT, right? By collaborating with this, every other guys, even Google or Microsoft, and all these guys are actually coming out with so much smart products. So now this particular AI, I just feel it is just a dot, right? And but a lot of inventors coming out very innovation kind of thought process, elaborating this out. I'm looking at the future going to be more tools and techniques, ideas that can this artificial intelligence will taken over, right?
Definitely.
I'm continuously advising a lot of people out there saying that don't scared of this, but be prepared to be the person who press the button for AI.
I believe that too.
Right. If you're not prepared for it, you'll be losing. Because it's almost everything has been slowly been taken over, right? Something that underwriter cannot be done by AI, but today they are talking about
Yes.
it, right? So,
Yeah.
so something that cannot be replaced is being discussed.
Yeah.
Because there's a huge revolution going through under this artificial intelligence.
I see. Okay. So I mean, like even myself, like if I'm from the stock market, I look into finance. So even myself, I'm trying to put my own trading strategies into to let AI run. Yeah. So before that, I learned a bit of like Python, like coding, all those machine learning. So I didn't really get anything out. So after today, I think like, okay, I know what is happening because I'm not in the data analyst side yet.
Right.
I'm not collecting enough of data. Yeah, so that's why. So that's why all these are evolving. So they all always say like in the stock market, if let's say as a trader, human trader, one day AI will replace that. That's why I'm looking into it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So these are the things. So that's why AI is often seen as like the driver of like innovations, right? So that's why, like you say, don't be afraid to press the AI button.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. But then, how can businesses like foster a culture that embrace AI-driven innovation to stay ahead of the competition? Yeah.
No, I think the most important now is actually to come out a new business model. Right?
Oh, yeah. Like disrupt.
Disrupt. You have to. Even my own company, just to share with you, today morning I went and see some consultant actually talking about revamping my business model. Because I know because even I'm running training, for example. I'm even telling people that in 5 years or shorter or longer, there won't be a classroom training, right? Because people want moving from macro learning to micro learning. It's like just give me a 2 minutes video. I just watched the video. I can learn myself. Why putting me into the room for 5 days? So
exactly.
I don't have time to sit down there for 5 days, right? So even my industry, in the long run, I personally feel it might be a huge disruption taking place slowly and soon, right? So I have to start now itself my business model. What going to be my replacement? How do I actually going to be switching this in a different way? Where's my other income going to be coming in from? Because if I only solo depending on this, I'll be outdated. Right? I'll be totally outdated. Right? So this is very important that organization to start looking at a new business model, strategic wise. What are the things they can incorporate? Which are the part can be impacted by technology? How do we go to do it? We can't do today. What is the tomorrow's plan? What's our next 5 years plan and so on? Right?
I think that's important.
Those are the strategic work the organization have to take in. I think a lot of company already doing it, but those are not yet. They have to start looking at it. Even a retail, somebody just running a restaurant, they have to look into it because you can see a lot of things in restaurants that people are expecting AI to take over as well. Now robot is sending food.
I mean, even like the nasi kandar, the kayu, they are using the robot to send the food to you.
Absolutely, correct. Those are the things that you're going to see more things will be taking place, right? So. Why do I need to wait for the waitress? I can see the bill on top and just swap my card and walk away, right? So I don't need to call them, right? I can see my amount. I have the.
Sometimes when you have to ask the waiters to come over, you need to like raise your hand for a very long time, right?
Absolutely. So all those things are whoever coming first, they're going to be innovative and all these things. They'll be attracting people already.
Okay, all right. So I think today, Mr. Manika have shared with us a lot of like from really good information, right? So on how to like start to transform your business, okay, from into like more technology and also of course slowly into AI. And of course, always remember one thing: AI is not the one that is going to help you everything. So you still need human to to look into it. So if you want to find out more like how to efficiently, okay, transform your business, okay. So Mr. Manika here, he has a book, okay, The Efficiency Age. All right. So if you want to find out more, there's a lot of details that is mentioned here. Okay, from the chapter 1 foundation, okay, of the efficiency in transforming world up until down to sustainability, like just now we mentioned before as well. So things update, right? Things update, then we need to update our robots or maybe for the AI as well. Okay, so you can go to the link. Okay, we have the link there to check out. Okay, for the purchase of this book. All right. So of course, thank you very much for having here today. Okay, so a big thank you. Okay, sharing your expertise and also shedding on the lights on how AI can actually revolutionize our business strategies and deliver this substantial return on investment, okay, to our investors. So we hope you found today's discussion actually enlightening and also inspiring as we did, and help you to maybe have some of the friends who wants to look into this transformation. You can look for lean partners, okay, so they can give you consultation on this. All right, so until next time, I'm Kelvin here, and also we have Mr. Manika, okay, and wishing you a prosperous and innovative day ahead.